Let's go.
Welcome, everyone, to Zephyr's Adjusted for Risk podcast from the shores of Lake Tahoe. This is Ryan Nauman, and I am the market strategist here at Zephyr. It's becoming more well known that women are in the midst of controlling the majority of financial assets. This transfer will present challenges and opportunities for financial advisors. I have on the perfect guest to talk about this transition and how financial advisors can capitalize on it, and how women can successfully transition to being the primary controller of their family's assets. This plus much, much more. But first, this episode is sponsored by the award-winning Zephyr, which helps investment professionals make more informed investment decisions. All right, let's get started and bring on the star of the show. I'd like to give a very warm welcome to Leslie Thompson. Leslie is a senior wealth advisor at Focus Partners Wealth. Leslie, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you on. Can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and Focus Partners Wealth?
Sure. And thanks, Ryan, for having me. Yeah, actually, Focus Partners Wealth is new for me effective June 1st of this year. Prior to that, I was a co-founder of Spectrum Wealth Management, a wealth advisory firm in Indianapolis, although we worked with clients across the country. And we managed a little over 1.2 billion in assets under management. I was actually our chief investment officer, as long as along with working with clients and so forth. And a couple of years ago, we affiliated with Focus, and June 1st, we actually merged completely into Focus, and now we're part of Focus Partners Wealth, where we manage and advise on over $100 billion. We have 100 offices throughout the country and about 1,400 professionals.
Fantastic. Congratulations on the move. I know those transitions, we're going to talk about women transitioning to controlling their family's assets and stuff, but transitioning to a new practice in your book of business, congratulations. It's a big milestone, right?
Sure.
Yes. Leslie, it's clear men make up the majority of the wealth management space. It's pretty obvious, but women are making waves and starting to take leadership roles in the industry like yourself. How did you get interested in the wealth management space? Can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Sure. Yeah, actually, it's a little strange, but my father was a broker back in the day. And at the age of 6, he had me, and I didn't know really what I was doing, but at the age of 6, I was calculating the moving average of the Dow Jones transports. It was a little math exercise, and he was a chartist technician.
Okay.
He had me charting, and I never worked with him professionally, but I went on to major in accounting, worked in accounting, got my CPA license, but always loved investing. And in the early mid 90s, when wealth management really, I guess, became a word, decided to leave public accounting and formed a relationship with my co-founder. And we provided comprehensive wealth management with a tax bent to it. We're both CPAs by background. We also are both CFA charter holders. And over the years, I took the lead on the investment piece, and we divided and conquered our practice. And that's it.
That's fantastic. Being a chartist or working, starting at the age of 6, do you still use technical analysis when you're looking at investments?
I do actually. It forms actually a strong basis for our asset allocation approach. And this is prior to Focus, but asset allocation approach, individual stock approach,
Yeah.
also being a CFA charter holder. There's a fundamental aspect to what we do too, but yeah, I marry the two of those processes together.
That's fantastic, Leslie. I love that you're bringing both the CFA and the technical analysis together. You provide a good experience and knowledge for your clients. One of the biggest issues, I believe, in this industry is education. Educating younger people on the importance of investing early in life to take advantage of compounding. Well, that issue is very prevalent in women investors. It's widely known that women get a later start in investing compared to men. Why do you believe that is?
I think in the beginning, we're probably equal. We're both kind of starting our careers off and hopefully investing in a 401(k) and so forth. But women tend to take time out of the workforce. And so therefore they don't have kind of a formal structure to invest and at all. And they're behind from that aspect. And then assuming that they're able to pick up later in life, they start investing again. So there is that kind of big gap because of that.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you also believe too, it's just you were very lucky. Your father got you into investing. I know that's how I got interested in investing too. While my dad wasn't in the industry, he would talk about investing with me. But I had three sisters, and it was the conversations were just between myself and my father. It wasn't really with my sisters, that in a lot of cases also.
Definitely not my family. That's like the only thing we talk about is actually in investing. And I'm not a sports person. I'm excluded from that conversation. But I think as it relates to just women in anything financial, perhaps maybe women we self-select out. I know I have a daughter and she's in college and taking higher level economics classes. And
Okay.
still today, it's mostly men in the class. And so I have to tell her, you deserve to be in the space. You deserve to be in the stock market picking competitions, the economics club, even though maybe you're one of a few women that are attending, you need to be in the space and you deserve to be in the space. And so I think as an industry, we need to encourage both future advisors as well as women investors that they deserve to be in the space and deserve to be heard.
Yeah, fantastic. As a one person research shop here at Zephyr, I have to read a lot. And being in Lake Tahoe, it's not like I can just go to a local watering hole and we talk happy hour and talk finances. There's not very many people here that talk about investing. So I have to read a lot and follow. And a handful of folks that I follow are women in the investment side. So it's good to see different perspective and fantastic that you're seeing more diversity in the space.
For sure.
Knowing that women start investing later in life and the fact that they're going to control the majority of assets soon, that process is going. What can financial advisors do to help make sure that transition for a woman, she might be in her 40s or 50s, make sure that transition to investing and controlling the assets goes smoothly?
Sure. Yeah, I think that as an advisor, if you're working with a couple, I think you need to encourage that both parties attend meetings, that they both participate in conversations. Even with me, a lot of times the men are at the meetings, their wives know where to get me and where to find me if something happens, but they really need to be part of the conversation because at the end of the day, I think we're going to all be responsible, men or women, for managing our assets on our own and you need to know what you own. You don't have to be an expert. And I think that sometimes maybe scares women away they need that they don't feel comfortable or confident in their questions, or they don't even know where to begin. And therefore, I think they feel that they don't, again, deserve the space of being there. And so I think as an advisor, you need to encourage participation from both parties and adapt to your clients, adapt to their needs, and also just being a good listener and try not to be talking technical and just have it be about the plan, keep it kind of high level.
I don't know the statistics right offhand, Leslie, but I do know, like in this Great Wealth Transfer, it's a huge percentage of younger generation, the second generation of investors are going to leave their financial advisors that their parents are with. And I'm sure it's very similar in the case of women because they don't maybe have that relationship with financial advisors. It's important for financial advisors to bring them to the table, bring them to meetings so you can understand their objectives and investment goals like the husband. I'm assuming hear that quite a bit, that it's very important that you gotta understand the wife. She's as important, if not more important than the husband in these conversations.
Yeah, completely agree.
In order to take advantage of this opportunity, financial advisor, like I said, they have to do a better job of understanding who their clients are. It's pretty obvious, but I think some people do it better than others. and their unique investment objectives. So, if I'm a financial advisor and having these conversations, how do women view investing compared to men?
Yeah, a lot's been written that women are more conservative, more risk adverse. I don't really believe that to be true. I think that women perhaps lack confidence, and so maybe they're not asking the questions or they're not even present, and therefore the perception is that they're more conservative. I think it's important for advisors to educate but not be too educational. We don't need to talk alpha, beta, all of those type of things. I think at the end of the day, the investment piece is just a tool. At the end of the day, we all want to know, what does it take to be work optional? So I don't use the term retirement. I use work optional. And beyond that, creating that plan, investing is a tool. And if you're not saving, you can't invest.
Yeah.
And so I think that as an advisor, you need to begin with the plan. And I think that women understand plans. And then in terms of times of market volatility or whatever the case may be, you can always bring it back to the plan, male or female, it doesn't matter, but you always bring it back to the plan and you work the plan. And then you integrate the investment piece of it, obviously into the plan. But for me, it's all about working the plan, building confidence.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Leslie. I'm glad you brought up that, the plan, the financial plan, because not only does it help, achieve goals and understand the client, it makes that relationship much stickier for a
For sure.
financial advisor. If all you're doing is managing the investments, it's really easy now compared to what it was 20 years ago to get up and switch firms and just move your mutual funds from one firm to another. But when you
For sure.
understand the holistic view, it makes that relationship much stronger.
For sure. And I think for as a female, building strong relationships and building trust, that's what we want. And so you need to, as an advisor, be able to demonstrate competence, create that trusting bond. And with that, I think you have a client for a lifetime.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm assuming with women, they probably value trust more than a man in terms of their relationship with their financial advisor.
Yeah, possibly. It's hard to know. I actually work with a lot of women going through transition, and usually it's divorce. So I actually
Okay.
do a lot of litigation support in divorce, and oftentimes it's women who very financially successful relationships and did nothing with the assets. Oftentimes situations where it was hidden, the asset piece. So they didn't have a chance to sit at the table,
Yeah.
although I
Okay.
sometimes only get one side of the story. But with that, as I'm working with them through the divorce and then post, I'm creating everything new for them, creating new bill pay accounts, creating just everything financial, setting up new accounts. And the financial industry, there's a lot of different accounts out there to be set up. There's a lot of different names, there's a lot of different terms. It is confusing. And so I'm really just like setting up their new financial life so that they're able to manage with confidence into the future.
I love that you keep bringing up confidence, right? I don't think I've had a lot of conversations on this subject, but one thing that doesn't come up a whole lot is confidence, building up their confidence. So, you know what? You can manage your money. It's leverage a financial advisor, and it's really not that difficult as long as you've got that trust and that relationship with your financial advisor, you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was somewhere actually at the dentist the other day, and there was a TV screen that they allow you to watch. And
Yep.
so CNBC was my choice. And my dentist was like, "Oh, I wish I knew more about investing." And you can. It's actually, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to find someone that you trust. And in the world of indexing, you don't have to pick stocks. You don't
Yeah.
make it
Right.
complex.
This is my being a investment strategist is my career, yet I do not pick stocks. I'll let that to the asset managers, the smart people, the CFAs. Hopefully you had your business card when you were at the dentist and you could hand
For
that
sure.
business card over. So we've talked a lot about women starting investing earlier in life. How can financial advisors help women start investing earlier in life? Is there ways that they can help?
I think in the beginning, if it's in the beginning of your career, I think for most people, it is saving in the 401k. That's the natural place where assets are directed. I think that women feel that they don't have enough money or they don't have something. There is a reason, and it's like a negative reason why, not why you shouldn't invest. And I think letting people know that great wealth could be built by dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
I've seen it. And I think you could start small and nothing's insignificant. And to your point, the compounding of return is a miracle. And you just have to find an advisor that, again, it's about the trust, but an advisor who also looks long term in terms of who they're working with and creating that plan. Because you could work with someone who has multi-millions of dollars, but if they spend it, then there's nothing left to invest. And so I think as an advisor, it's finding people that are committed to savings, committed to building a plan, which women are. So again, I think working with women, you'll have lifelong clients
Yeah.
who will need you to help shepherd their path into the future as they manage their own wealth, manage family wealth, and so forth.
Yeah, that's fantastic insight. You mentioned some misconceptions women have with wealth management space. Maybe they don't have enough money or don't know where to start. Are there other misconceptions women have about this space that just scares them away, or maybe from history, they're just stockbrokers just trying to sell me a stock? What are some other misconceptions?
I think that the wealth management is confusing because you do have like fee based, you have fiduciary, you have all of these terms. And I think even a person in wealth management is confusing. And I do think that in a way scares people, scares just people in general away. I think bringing up that confidence word again, women just need to prepare for the future and really again find someone that they can trust and ask questions.
Yeah.
And I have clients too that they're worried about bothering me again, but it's their money and women need to, it's not a bother, it's their money.
Yeah.
And as an advisor, you need to realize that too. And oftentimes with women, and again, especially in a divorce situation or a widow situation, and they come into this money or inheritance or whatnot, chances are they may not go back to work if they're in their late 50s or
Yeah.
60s. That's what they have. And as an advisor, you're entrusted to take care of that's what they have and have to be very respectful of that. And
Great. You brought up questions, and that brings a very good point for women who maybe are still with the financial advisor that the family's been with, but now they're in control of the assets for one reason or another, or maybe they're looking for a different financial advisor. What are some questions she can ask the financial advisor, or that you think are very prudent in that fact finding or building that relationship?
I always think it's important to understand what you're paying. Our industry can be a little confusing because not only is it fee based, non-fee based, there's different products. And so I think women need to understand what they're paying, not only what they're paying their advisor, but what fees are associated with any product. Now, it's not always about the fee, it's about the value. And it's understanding for the fee, what value are you getting? And so that's what advisors have to demonstrate the value. So we talked about investing. I love investing, but you could just invest in a low cost index fund and investing in a way it's commoditized. And so you have to bring that additional value add. And so for us and for me, a lot of it's about the tax planning and the forecasting. It's about working the plan. But for me, it's also about tax planning because appropriate tax planning, you could save clients real money. And that's definitely a value add. So I think as you're interviewing advisors, one, understanding the fee and what you're getting for it. And I guess frequency of meetings. I don't have a frequency of meetings. If something happens, some clients I could talk to, 5, 10 times a week. It's usually via email, but it's whatever is going on with that person's life. They need to let me know because at the end of the day, it usually touches your wallet one way or the other. And so I want to know. And then sometimes you don't hear from people for a while. And so I'm always then being proactive just to make sure we're on path.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to make sure, and I spend a lot of time doing, is on the expense side. So it's helping women create budgets, which no one likes that word, but it's really important from a forecasting standpoint to make sure
Mhm.
we're on track. And then sometimes I find people, both men and women, but they underspend because they're afraid. And so I
Yeah.
encourage people to spend. And that's where working that plan and educating people more so on the plan versus why did I pick XYZ stock is the most important thing.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I worked for financial advisors years and years ago, and one said to clients, is yes, you want to maybe pass on some to your kids, but you earn that money is yours. Feel
Yeah,
free to spend it. Enjoy that money that hard-earned money that you've spent your lifetime saving.
for sure.
Enjoy it. But you're exactly right. They're scared of running out of money, so they won't spend. And I love that you brought up this industry. I don't know if there's any other industry that uses more acronyms.
For sure.
It's so it can be very confusing, and it's confusing to me when all these new products are being rolled out. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's very important. Lastly, let's talk about getting into this industry real quick. You started at the age of 6 with your dad. Do you have any tips to women who, want to get into the wealth management space or just in the broader investment management space,
Sure.
whether they're in college or maybe they're pre-college or even afterwards, maybe they're looking for a career change?
Yeah, obviously I came up a unique way and my schooling it was accounting. It was like finance based, but you don't have to be that. And so it's never too late. I think that you need to be a lifelong learner and read. And I think you need to be a good listener. And when you look at wealth management, a lot of wealth management, my clients sometimes feel like it's therapy, and I'm not a licensed therapist, definitely not qualified, but a lot of times it's the conversations are more therapeutic. And so even having a background in psychology, which sounds, what does that have to do with wealth? But again, I think if you're part of an organization, so here it's Focus Partners Wealth or whatever organization, you do have the expertise of different, whether it's investment or someone on the estate or whatever the case may be, to help bridge the gap to service clients. So I don't think you have to start out and be educated in the financial field. It certainly helps. But again, it's about being a good listener. There's obviously designations post college that you're going to need. And even the young people that I work with, they've learned none of the things, even though that they had a finance background, that they needed in college. None of what they're doing today did they learn in college. They tell me
Yeah.
that all the time. And even if you're a finance major and you're picking stocks, it's different in the real world. And women aren't precluded, or no one's precluded from being in this industry because they don't have a finance background.
You're spot on, Leslie. I say it too in all my communications. I think there's less and less people, the people I talk to, fewer percentage of people actually went to school for finance or something. They get interested in it, they read something, and then all of a sudden it's, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. So you were exactly correct. You don't need a academic background at some prestigious financial school to get into it. You can start, and like you said, learning. I try and learn something new every day because this industry, one of the reasons why I like it so much is it changes every day. It's changing.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't have to be an advisor too. There's a lot of roles within that. We're all here at the end of the day to help clients fulfill their dreams and their future. And we do it through wealth management, but there's so many career opportunities within the space outside of
Yeah,
being a pure advisor.
you're exactly correct. Leslie, thank you for the great conversation. It was a lot of fun, great insight. You brought a lot of knowledge. I love that. It was an honor to have you on. Where can our audience get more information about your practice and Focus Partners Wealth?
There's a lot of information on the website, and it's at wealth.focuspartners.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Zephyr's Adjusted for Risk podcast. You can watch all of our other episodes on the Zephyr YouTube channel and on Spotify. Please remember to like and subscribe to those channels and follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you very much and have a good rest of your week.